This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of October 20th, 2022. I'm Alex Brown. A decades-old building in downtown Newcastle has been given new life by providing local entrepreneurs a temporary brick-and-mortar business space. The Popped pop-up shop utilizes a 500-square-foot building that served as a gas station in the 1940s, where businesses can set up shop for up to a week.
I know a lot of home-based businesses, and I just seen an opportunity for people to have a space to be able to go in and set up for a brick and mortar, to be able to use that space as a resource to create brand awareness, to sell their product.
Stephanie Tedder with Peony Poppy Designs says the building is already booked through the rest of the year. After driving the back roads and scouring the countryside for years looking for vintage advertising signs and other memorabilia, the owners of Crawfordsville-based Route 32 Auctions and the Indie Advertising Show have changed direction. Kevin and Jill Parker's businesses are now part of Morphe Auctions, a Pennsylvania-based antiques and collectibles business. Local restaurateur Scott Wise and his wife filed for personal bankruptcy protection earlier this month following an unsuccessful attempt to work through financial issues related to the failure of the Scotty's Brewhouse restaurant chain. Wise said the move will have no impact on his Roots Burger Bar venture. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Did you know Indiana ranks 40th among the 50 U.S. states in terms of health? It's time for creative intervention. Join IBJ and Gleaners on October 31st for an important panel discussion about hunger and health in Indiana. RSVP by October 25th at ibj.com/events.
Whether it's a new hire or a noteworthy promotion, IIB's Big Wigs and New Gigs serves as a platform to promote your team. Our revamped offering includes being featured on both the newly redesigned newsletter and at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Subscribers to the Business News subscription save $10 off every listing. Plus, you can save $100 by bundling your submission to IIB with the Indianapolis Business Journal or the Indiana Lawyer. More at InsideIndianaBusiness.com.
Thousands of immigrant children who came through legal channels to Indiana, roughly 17%, don't have insurance coverage, and the Commission on Improving the Status of Children in Indiana voted Wednesday to do something about it.
Specifically, the panel is urging lawmakers to fix that gap by waiving a regulatory 5-year waiting period. Mark Fairchild, Director of Policy and Communication with healthcare nonprofit Covering Kids and Families in Indiana, presented findings to the commission detailing the thousands of children and hundreds of adults whose incomes would otherwise qualify them for Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program. But Indiana, unlike a majority of states, has opted not to waive a 5-year waiting period for immigrants to enroll in the government program. Fairchild noted that for young children especially, this delayed care can have consequences. As an autism therapist, he noted that early intervention could be crucial for connecting children with developmental disabilities to appropriate care and resources. The committee decided to recommend removing the 5-year waiting period, which would be authorized by the Indiana General Assembly. Wes Mills, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Lafayette-based STEM Education Works is partnering with the Indiana Next Generation Manufacturing Competitiveness Center at Purdue University to establish a new design and innovation studio at Endress & Hauser's Greenwood campus. The partners say the studio will serve as a community resource for students in Johnson and Marion counties and can be reserved by schools and organizations for off-site STEM learning experiences. The 1,700-square-foot studio features robotic arms, 3D printers, coding robots, and coding kits. Endress & Hauser is an instrument manufacturer with nearly 650,000 square feet of manufacturing space in Greenwood, Michigan, and California. A cavernous, vacant manufacturing plant in St. Joseph County that at one time produced Hummer H2 SUVs and an assortment of other autos and vans over the past 2 decades could once again start producing vehicles. California-based electric vehicle startup Mullen Automotive says it has gained court approval to buy Electric Last Mile Solutions assets out of bankruptcy in a $240 million cash transaction. Michigan-based ELMS filed for bankruptcy in June, less than a year after it went public through a $1.4 billion SPAC. Last week, the U.S. Bankruptcy Court approved Mullen's bid to acquire ELMS's manufacturing plant in Mishawaka, all inventory and intellectual property. Mullen says the plant will will allow it to accelerate the launch of the Mullen 5, an EV crossover, as well as an electric SUV and pickup truck. Mullen says it will move production of the Mullen 5 EV from a facility in Mississippi to the Mishawaka plant, and it plans to begin production in 2024. One Southern Indiana CEO, Wendy Dant Chesser, is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.